It is Talaria adventure time again. I'm going to be going out with my friends again today that I went with in the previous videos. We're going to a completely new place. It's going to be a different type of riding. This is more open desert, not very wooded. And I'm also going to do an experiment where I'm going to leave the Talaria in eco mode the whole time to see if it has enough power to keep me up with them, but also how much energy it saves. They are going to be doing another trip in the future that is longer than the range of my Talaria can do. So I'm I wanted to test what I can do in eco mode to maybe see if I can expand that range, see if I can join them on that future trip. We're going to be going across the top of Utah Lake here and then down the west side of it all the way down here, and this is where the series of trails are that we're going to be riding. And so it's going to be a 30-minute drive from where we are now, another 21 miles, and it says we'll get there 69%, but it'll probably be lower than that since we're towing the trailer. This vehicle that I'm towing my Talaria with is a Tesla Model S, which doesn't come native with a tow hitch, and so I installed that myself aftermarket, and I'll put a card above to the link of the videos that I made installing the trailer hitch on the car. But it's been fun to be able to tow with this car since we have free charging at home with solar, and so anytime I can tow with this car, I do that instead of my truck so that I don't have to buy gas. And I guess what I would add to that too is I actually just love driving the Model S, and the truck is not so much fun to drive. So anytime I can get away with towing with Model S, I do it because it's cheaper and way more fun. Also, look at the views out here. You've got tons of sunflowers all the way across this mountainside, and then you have the beautiful Utah Lake on the side of that. So just a really beautiful drive out here to this area. I've arrived at the staging area, unloaded my bike. And let's check on the status of the car. So we're at 67%. That's only 2% less than it estimated. That's not bad at all. And the temperature has gone up 2 degrees. But look at this view here. Isn't this gorgeous? I love it. All right, I am geared up, ready to go. We're going to be tracking this ride with Strava, so I just started that. You can see that we're starting at 100% on the Talaria. Then I have to push this button here and switch it over to Eco. So I'm just going to see how well Eco goes for me on this ride, keeping up with the other guys. And they're all on gas-powered bikes. I think they're all 4-strokes. So I'm kind of the underdog here, so to speak, within certain realm of speed and overall capabilities. They have bigger tires and whatnot, wider tires as well. But I've been able to keep up with them for the last couple of rides. I'll put a card above to the playlist of these rides that I've done with them. And let's go have some fun. This is the landscape that we'll be riding. Very much dry compared to the last video I did. There's this road we have to go down first before we get to the trails. All right, we are getting started now. And like I said, I'm in eco mode. And like right now I'm completely flooring it. It is not taking off very quickly. So it is significantly different than sport mode, with that significant amount of torque just kind of is generally gone. But I'll continue to see how this goes today and see if I can keep up with them or if I have to switch back over to sport mode. And like I said before, my main goal is just, I'm kind of curious to see how much less energy or how little energy I consume in eco versus sport. Not perfectly a scientific test, of course, because we're in entirely different terrain, different location, and we're going to be riding for different length of time. So I'm not sure how useful this test will be, but I'm doing it anyway, so I can try to get some intel, because they do rides sometimes that are longer than what I was able to do on the last ride. I did 27 miles on the last ride, and we finished at 12%, and that bottom half of the battery is definitely not as long as the first half of the battery, so it's a little bit hard to tell exactly what I could have done. I'm guessing 30 miles, and so I'm wondering if I'll be able to get more than that on eco, but I'm definitely not going to be testing that length today because we're not riding that far today. So we'll see how this goes. Well, this is fun. It's kind of windy right now, and it's nice because it helps, especially if it's to the side, of course, to blow the dust out of my way faster. Of course, not right now, but earlier it was. So far I'm still in eco mode, but it's not as fun, I will say that. But it is still fun to be riding, just I don't have the torque to just zip around. We're in a riverbed now, and the sand is pretty deep. Makes for treacherous footing. You have to be very careful, but it's been doing all right still. What I figured out that I can do with the eco mode is the button right here takes effect right away. So I can push right now. Oh, and it's all of a sudden way sportier. And I can do that just to get up the hills and then turn it back off. And then it's back to being gutless again. Another thing that I've noticed is when I do put it into sport mode, the torque is actually kind of dangerous on this loose terrain that we're on here. Unlike the last trip, it actually is a problem when you have too much torque and it's really loose. And so it's kind of nice to be able to switch to eco mode, completely nerf your torque, but it's actually better because you don't accidentally spin out as easily. And then when you need it, turn it back on. So I just had it on there, now I just turned it back off. I like that they allow you to switch between modes while still riding and not have to come to a stop. This is a steep spot. So yeah, this is the first time I've experimented with eco mode, and I'm actually kind of pretty happy with the ability to use both on the fly. And if I'm not worried about range, I probably won't bother to use eco mode as much, unless you're on a lot of loose terrain like here, or I need the range. But just having it consistently torque is also nice. So I just switched to sport mode. Definitely needed it there. Man, this trail has what's kind of like the equivalent of washboards for dirt bikes, where the two wheels just fall down into valleys at the same time. It's really kind of rough. Look at this view. Loving it. He just looked up this trail that we're on, and it's a black diamond trail. So we'll see how gnarly it gets, and if it gets too tough for us, then we'll backtrack. Because if we can get up it, we should be able to get back down it, right? Just switched over to sport mode because this is a bit of a steep spot right there. Now I'm up to, I'm going to leave it sport mode for now. This has a steep spot coming up. Ooh. The torque is only as good as traction. There's not a lot to good traction here. I mean, I guess it was mud yesterday, and that wasn't great traction either, so it's all right. I think he's second guessing his life choices. So this is a situation where it was a little tricky because I can't use my brakes and accelerator at the same time because I haven't taken off that switch. But it was okay. With the instant torque, I can switch between brake and accelerator. It's not that big a deal. There we go. Alright, so we got not a lot of traction here, but it's steep, so get my feet down to catch me. Oh, that is tricky. Okay, definitely needed sport mode for that. It's about to slide off the bike. Whoa! Got really good traction on that rock and did an inadvertent wheelie. Look at this beautiful vista. Wow. You can see all the dust blowing across the desert from the wind. And back over here is where our vehicles are parked. Nice. We've gone for half an hour, 3.79 miles, and the battery is at 90%. Another gorgeous view. I mean, desertscape gorgeous. Well, this is a fun downhill technical section where I think the lightness of the Talaria really comes in clutch. My back brake is definitely at the max of its friction that it's got on this terrain. Whew. Nice. Whew. Let's see how they do. If all else fails, just go faster and then slow down when you can, like at the bottom. Alright, we've been going for 45 minutes. The Talaria is at 86%, and I've been on eco mode the majority of the time. So I'm not sure that that's terribly conclusive. It clearly uses less, and I think I'm going to use a combination of it in the future if I need more range. And I'm sure I'll do longer trips in the future, and I'll have a little bit better comparison to the last longer ride that I did that was 27 miles. We don't have enough time today to go as long as we did last time, as long as it took to get up to 27 miles, which it was 4 hours. So, but I wanted to come on this ride anyway and test out eco mode, and this is a good place for it because of all the loose, gravelly and sand terrain and trails. Oh, here's the shooting range. Got a lot of people here target practicing. Although I've never been here before, so I'm not really sure what's normal. We are headed back to the cars. We don't have enough time today to go on a longer ride to more adequately test the range of the Talaria. So all I have is the data point of, well, how long we have been riding today. So looking at that stat, we're at 53 minutes and 7.58 miles. And the Talaria battery is at 84%. I've been in eco mode the majority of the time and just switched to sport mode in those uphill sections where I really needed that extra torque that eco mode just doesn't have. And so I found that the combination of the two is actually just fine, and if it prolongs the range, I'll be able to use that in future rides to get more range out of it. But I need to actually do a long ride and run it down completely, doing the combo of the two, so that I know what my maximum range is in sport riding like this, like off-road and trails and whatnot. So I'm gonna get the Talaria loaded up and we'll head home and see what the state of charge is on the Tesla when we get home, etc. So here, final stats. So 84% still on the Talaria, and so 54 minutes 39 seconds, 7.79 miles, and average speed of 8.5 miles per hour. Trailer back there, bouncing around in the rocks, and over here we're taking off at 65% on the battery. Now the exit over here is a little steep, so I'm going to bring up the menu, suspension, and then go to very high so that we don't hit, and hopefully we don't. I'll test this out. Alright, we didn't hit, no problem. The drive home is going to be 34 minutes, and it's estimating a 57% arrival, and so we'll see how that goes. This ride was 7.79 miles long and consumed 16% of the battery, which means 2.05% of the battery was consumed per mile. And at that rate of energy consumption, that projects that I would be able to drive a total of 48.68 miles of range to consume the entire Talaria battery. Calculating by my moving time, which consumed 24% per hour, that projects 4.16 hours of riding. Based on my experience while riding in Pacing Canyon, which I'll put a card to above, when we rode 27 miles, the lower half of the battery has less range in it than the top half of the battery. So I think it's highly unlikely I could actually get 48 miles of range using eco mode in this terrain. I think it would be somewhere between 30 to 40 miles perhaps, but only time will tell as I have more opportunities to gather additional data on future rides. Looking at the Strava interface where I recorded all of the data for that ride, you can see the distance indicated here, and the moving time is interesting because it's only 39 minutes. So we're actually moving most of the time that we were riding because the ride was closer to an hour. And then if we look down here, this is the total time, 55 minutes. And so our average speed was 11.8 miles per hour, and the maximum was 29. If we then move down here to the graph, or I guess the map, this shows where we rode, and as I move the mouse across the graph down here, this is showing the elevation gain down here, and you can see where on the map we were at that point of elevation. So I quite like this interface, how we can see what the elevation is doing while we're on the route going throughout. So this is where that lookout was, up at the top looking at the views, and then there was another lookout right here up this tip, and then we came down from there and back to our vehicles. And then if we switch over here to the analysis tab, there is that same map here of our route, and then down here we can scroll down and we can see this graph, which is unique, and this is showing our speed versus the estimated power that was being consumed at that moment. I don't know that this is terribly helpful to look at. Obviously when you're going up steep hills like right here, you can see that the estimated power is spiking, so that makes sense, of course. And then conversely, when you're coming down, obviously there's less power. I don't know that this is terribly helpful, but it's still kind of interesting to see the data play out as we rode. I'm back home, and the state of charge of the car is 54%. And you can see that we were getting an average of 311 watt-hours per mile. So actually really good efficiency towing today. For some reason, we didn't really go up or down much in elevation, so that's really impressive. I hope this has been helpful to see what the Talaria is capable of, as well as the Tesla Model S in towing it with this small trailer. With that, I will see you in the next Electric Tech Adventure video. Thanks for watching.